again. Following on from my last video about my two new chainsaws, which I will start up tomorrow and do a bit of a demo with them, because I'm going to have a bit of garden work to do tomorrow. Probably should have started doing it today because it's been a nice sunny day. It didn't rain last night and it hasn't rained today, and it's sunny and it's not too hot. It is very humid still, but it's not ridiculously hot. What I will do, pardon me, tomorrow's going to be the same apparently. So tomorrow will give me the opportunity to mow my lawn, because it's rained that much that the ground has just been super boggy. Like the post person, because she's a woman, post lady, when she goes across my front nature strip, she sinks in about yay far. It's been so boggy. But anyway, so tomorrow you'll see the chainsaws going, and I won't discuss the saws because I'll discuss them tomorrow. But what I will discuss today is, so yesterday I said that I didn't have a 98 link full chisel chain, and now I do, and here it is. So this is a 98 link full chisel chain. It's a skip chain. So what that means is that instead of having teeth every second, which is what they call it, a full comp chain, instead of teeth every second or third, I think, every second or third, whatever the fully comp one is, this has every, like, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the full comp's every second. This is every third or fourth. I'm not sure how you actually measure it, which shows you my ignorance. I'm pretty much new into this, and you would ask, well, why are you making your own chains? I'll tell you why. Convenience. Okay. Where I live, there's 2 places where you can buy chainsaws, as far as I know, and they're motorbike shops and mower shops. All right. Yeah, they do sell chainsaws, but and I don't even know if they make chains. I'm not sure. I've never asked them. But you know, if you had a particular length and pitch and gauge of chain with so many drive lengths, and it broke, or you destroyed it by hitting nails in wood or rocks, dirt, or it just came apart. They do come apart. And then you go, oh god damn, alright, I need this chain, and they're like, yeah, we only stock this, or yeah, well, we'll have to make one up if they make them, but we're not doing it straight away for you. So you're in a bind. Whereas when you've got the gear and the consumables to make your own chain, what you can do is you can make up a couple of chains, because say, fair enough, if you're working at home, you know, your workshop's right there. But if, say, say if you're a member of a sporting club and you do a bit of maintenance work there, like, you know, gardening work, you know, it's got some field, and now I'm talking about the archery club that I used to go to, which I will be going to again. I used to do a fair bit of chainsawing there. There's a lot of trees there, and a lot of them die, and you get some overhangs and that, and yeah, you want to get rid of them. So I usually did the chainsawing. Now, yeah, that's not that far away from my house, but it's really inconvenient if something happens to the chain. For some reason you can't use the chain that you took with you, and then you've got to come back home, make another chain, go through all that rigmarole. Whereas I wouldn't go anywhere without one spare chain. I'd probably take 2, because the other thing is that if you're sawing, you know, like really hard dead wood, and it's really taking a toll on your chain, making it blunt pretty quick, it's a lot easier and quicker just to whack on a new chain rather than sharpening, especially if you've got a long bar and it's got, you know, a lot of teeth. One of the advantages of using a skip chain is that you don't have as many teeth, and it's a lot quicker to sharpen. The skip chains are more efficient too. They are quicker. The reason why you won't see a skip chain on an off-the-shelf saw, well, an amateur off-the-shelf saw, I don't know, maybe some of the pro shops do sell their saws with skip chains, but I seriously doubt it. It's a safety issue. Skip chains are supposed to be more prone to kicking back. I've been using a skip chain now for some time. That's all I use, and I've never had it kick back. The other thing is correct technique. You know, chainsawing, using a chainsaw properly. There are techniques that will minimise the chances that you will get hit by it if it does kick back. Like not standing, you know, not having it dead, or yeah. If you are going to do chainsawing and you don't know anything about it, at least go online and have a look at. There's a lot of tutorials about how to use a chainsaw safely, and the one that I advise is if you've got, actually I said it's the WorkSafe BC. I think it's called falling course or whatever. That's really long. Like that is essentially I don't know what it is, a Cert 3 or something in falling timber logging. That's the school curriculum, and there's actually 17 parts to it, and man, that's hours and hours of watching. But there are YouTube channels who show you how to use a chainsaw safely, the correct safe methods. Now, so it's not that hard to make a chain. Like the company that I get the only company that I've gotten my chains from, and I'll say the name. They don't give me anything. I don't get any sponsorship from anybody, regardless of what kind of video I'm doing on what subject. I don't get anything. I don't get any favours. I don't get any discounts. I don't get any money from anybody. I don't get any discounts or money from Pharmatech, even though I do promote their product and reckon it's good stuff. I do not get any money from Hurricane. Here's a Hurricane bar. Here's a Hurricane chain. Okay, and the shop that I get, the online shop that I get bars and chains from is Jono and Jono, and they're in Australia, and they're really good to deal with. I've found. So what you'll need if you do want to make up a chain is, first of all, chain. So it just comes in a roll, on a roll like that. You got the links. You also get, which is nice, you get plastic bags and boxes. So when you say you made a spare chain, or say you're making a heap of chains, like for other people, you can do it for money. You put the chain in the plastic bag, and then you fold together the box, and you put that in the box, and you write in the box what it is, and then you can sell it to someone, or just have it in storage. Say you're in the mood to make a heap of chains, and you know what length chains you need, what gauge, whatever. So this is a 25-foot box, length box, and but you can get, there's one chain that I've got 100-foot. Obviously, the longer chains that you get, the cheaper it is. Another reason for making your own chains is it's cheaper. The amount of time it actually takes to do it. If you're not very good at it, in the beginning you won't be. You're not going to be an expert. So you may not be really saving that much but your time is free. All right. If you've got spare time, like on a weekend, you can make up a few chains, and get a bit of good practice in. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a beer. it's late in the afternoon and it's hot and I'm tired and first taste of beer, yummy. So how do you know how many links you need? Alright, well, you can just take your old chain and count them. But the vast majority of companies who make bars will actually put the number of drive links on the bar. So this is the cardboard scabbard that this thing came in. Right, so it's a 30-inch for a still. Now, why I'm really not sure, but Hurricane do not put number of drive links, so I've actually scribed it in with the Dremel here. Why they don't put that is, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, a bit weird. But anyway, so there's a chain that I made up. What do you need to make up the chain? First of all, you need the chain. You need to figure out how many drive links you need. So that's the drive links down the bottom. Alright, that's what goes on the sprocket, because it'll say how many drive links. So it's got here 98 DL, 98 drive links. Right. So you've got to figure out when you've got the end of your chain, what does the end of the chain start with? It usually starts with like a couple of blank links, so that don't have teeth. And this is a 98 link chain, 98 drive link chain. Now, there is one spot where I joined, which is there, where I've got one extra blank, alright, than everywhere else. There's nothing you can do about that. If you want 98 drive links, that's how it's going to be. Or you can put an extra tooth. So it's, I don't know what the better option is, whether to put an extra tooth in or leave that tooth out and have a bigger gap between teeth. And when you're talking about that length chain, I don't think it really matters. And I've bought chains and the teeth weren't evenly spaced, because depending on the length of the chain, sometimes you can't have them evenly spaced. It's just impossible, mathematically impossible. Now, one thing I could have done was left one link out and made it a 97 link, but I don't like doing that. Maybe when the chain stretches, because what happens is initially the chain is quite tight, and after a period of time it stretches. You'll find that you'll be, it will stretch with use. Now, after a period of time, once it's stretched out, you can probably whack out that link, and I probably will eventually. I do need to make up another one because I like to have two, but I'm not really, like, if I was going out and cutting the tree down, other than in my backyard, which is full of trees, if I was going somewhere else, I would make another chain and have two chains. So anyway, to make the chain, you need the chain. Then, once you've counted out how many drive links you need to punch out the rivet out of that drive link, and the one next to it. So removing the connecting strap, they're called. So this is a device, it's essentially an arbor press. I don't have a huge regard of it. I've got a 1 ton arbor press that I use instead, and I just take out, I can't take this out because, so I just take out that punch, that is an insert, it just comes out, and I put that, you get 3 of them with this. When you buy this thing, you get 3 punches. I don't know why, maybe they wear out. So I just put that punch in my 1 ton arbor press. Once you've got that apart, now I will say this, the instructions are, and I've seen people do it, and I don't know how the hell they do it, is that you just, there is an anvil that you have sitting there, and I haven't got that here. I will actually go and get it in 1 moment. So, when you buy this thingamajigger, that's the anvil, and you're supposed to put that there like that, and then and punch out the link out of the rivet out of the link. Now this thing is pretty useless in my opinion. Instead, you can buy these. Again, Jono and Jono. And it's got the various size links, chains. So 1/4, what's that one? 1/4, I can't even read that. Yeah, whatever. 404. 404 is probably the biggest chain. It is the biggest chain. 1/4, 3/8, 325. Yeah, alright. So 1/4 is like for your really tiny saws. Yeah. So this anvil works well. So you're supposed to put that in there and whack that rivet out without doing any preparation work on that rivet head. I find that pretty much impossible. Maybe I'm just useless, but what I have to do, found that I have to do, and it does make it a lot easier, is I've got a Dremel, and I've got a big bullet head sort of stone, and just I grind that head off, and then I put it in the 1 ton arbor press, not even that, and pop it through. And you need to pop the one that's, yeah, you need to pop them both out, otherwise it won't come apart. If you only try to pop one out, yeah, it doesn't work, if you know what I mean. So anyway, get yourself an anvil. Number one, get yourself an anvil. If you've got a proper arbor press or a press, a better press, yeah, use it. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with this thing, and you're definitely going to have to take the heads off, grind the heads off. Once you've done that, you use this Duvalaki, and this is a spinner. What's it called? Yeah, it's called a rivet spinner. All right, so what I found is this isn't the best. It's a cheapie, yeah, and you get a kit. Jono and Jono will sell a kit which comprises the spinner, the press, whoops, you need to buy that anvil separate, the spinner, the press, and chain, and a box of chain, whatever chain you want, and they'll sell that as a kit, which is not bad. It's just a little beer. Now, I'll show some B-roll of me spinning a chain. So here you go. Right, I don't know what's going on with this camera. It keeps getting turned off by economy mode even though it's got pretty much full battery. So like I was saying, just start both of them off and just go steady. And you see, it's pretty well aligned because it's not going crazy all over the place. But a little bit of pressure, spinny, a little bit more, spinny, a little bit more, and now it's getting squealy. A bit more. So take it out, have a look, and so that's them there. That's them there. You can see they're getting there. They're not, you can see that's pretty damn loose. So
They both started up, which is good. Center it back in there and then start doing it again. And it's bunched up, but it is centered, and now it's going all wonky. Don't know why. So just loosen it off and start again. So it's going out of whack. Get it in the center. There. It's a bit of an art to it. I'm not an expert and I'm only a beginner. See, this one's alright. He's dead center, and as you hear that squealing, you know that's friction. So just lube it up again. That should be pretty close. It's very easy to go overboard, and then it'll crack. That one's not too bad. Still loose. Go some more. I would assume that the guys who do this all the time have the technique down pat. I don't. Let's send it again. I do not have the technique down pat. Again, it is really easy to go overboard. Let's have a look at it. Because what you don't want is it coming apart. I'm pretty happy with that. Just make sure there's one little crack at the edge. That's alright. As long as it's not a big crack. So put this one back in. And get him going. How you get the cracks is when it goes like this. It doesn't want to stay centered. I don't know why it's doing that. I do not know. It doesn't want to stay centered. So just loosen it off. A bit more lube. And now it's centered. And it's alright, sort of. Oh, it's going out of whack again. I think I might give up on that one. That should be enough. Yeah, that head's enough. Alright, so they're a bit loose, but yeah. Yeah, they are a bit loose, but so be it. I'll just give them a bit more of a hit. And that one's alright. That one should be fine now. How big is he? Yeah, about the same size as the others, and not too loose, but it still spins. That's pretty good. And do the other one again. He wants to go all wonky. I don't know why. So I don't want to risk cracking it. He's alright. Yeah. That's not too loose, as you can see, at all. But it still moves. Beautiful. Okay. So that is my chain for 98 DriveLink full chisel chain. So there you go. I'm not very good at it, but my chain, I've not had a chain come apart yet. Obviously the equipment that I'm using is pretty cheap and nasty, but I can't justify buying professional tools to do something that I do every now and then. Again, just like the saws, I use Chinese saws. Well, I've got one Japanese saw, the Shindaiwa. Man, what a saw! Oh. That Shindaiwa actually had a really small gauge chain,
I think, yeah, quarter or something. I actually upped that. I put a bigger bar in it and I put 3/8 chain on that thing, and it just eats it up. It's an amazing little saw, and it's only 35cc, 35.2 cc, but that is a super saw. Yeah, I've had that for a long time, long time. How long? Probably at least 17 years. That Shindaiwa, whoa, what a monster. Anyway, back to making chains. Now, I'm not, as you can see, I'm not an expert. And why am I even bothering to do this video? I'll tell you why, because most people would be unaware of how easy it is to make a chain. Especially like, you know, if you live in an area where there are a lot of, you know, in a major city where you've got quite a large array of, or selection of shops that you can go to and get this stuff, or you're in a logging area and you know you can buy chains readily and you know and get them made, like you can grab it the next day or whatever, or that's all well and good. But if you're like me, where you live in a small regional town, and if you want to get something, like if you're in a major city, you get, especially if the seller is in that city, right? I mean, if you're that lazy to not go pick it up, you'll get it delivered next day probably, or in a couple of days. Whereas where I am, man, it takes ages to get shit delivered to me. It takes a long time. So just the convenience of making your own chain, and it's good fun, you know, it's good practice. It's something new. I love learning. I'm what's called a perennial student. I will never ever stop learning. I will stop learning when I die, and even then I'll probably learn something. So have a go at it. You know, it's, I don't know how many chains I would have to make to pay these off, because they're not that expensive. You know, it's, I mean, it's not, we're not talking yeah, the Rolls Royce of equipment. It's relatively cheap. So if you want to learn how to, if you want an in-depth lessons on how to make chains, then there are other YouTube videos, there are other YouTube channels, there are other YouTubers who are experts. All right, they're professionals. Go and watch them. But hopefully, maybe I may be the trigger, the inspiration, the spark to actually do that. So if you've got a chainsaw at home and you're like, oh man, this thing's cutting like crap, well, guess what? Your chain's probably blunt. Yeah. You know what? All the engine modifications, all the upgrades, blah blah blah, count for nothing if your chain's blunt. So that's probably the number one thing you should learn when you're getting into chainsawing. First up is how to sharpen your chain, and how to maintain the saw. So that course that I got for free, it was a TAFE course, Technical and Further Education, is what TAFE stands for if you're from another country. So that TAFE course, that beginners chainsawing course, was really informative. Yeah, so if you want to save money, learn something new, and have the convenience of chains when you need them, get into making your own chains. Because like I said, if you're in the middle of nowhere, you know, you're not going to get a chain in any, you know, very quickly. You're better off making it yourself. And I would say that probably most people who own a chainsaw don't make their own chains, which I find a bit strange, because it is so easy to, I never used to. I only got into making my own chains like a few months ago. Alright, so for a very long time I was just buying chains, which is okay, but once you factor in the fact that I live, you know, a long way away from anywhere, well, the town that I'm in anyway, when you factor in the shipping and just the inconvenience of waiting for it for that long, it's just a lot easier to make your own chain. So I've probably rambled on enough, but tomorrow I'll fire up the chainsaws and see how they go. So until then, see you later.